So, hopefully, you guys can see me. Today's agenda, I'm gonna do some lead code. Let's write this down actually. I'm gonna finish the rotated arrays problems. And let's take a look. And I wanna do some. Yeah, I wanna do some other work too. Kaggle, maybe. I wanna do the logic gate thing. Math logic and what it means. I think that'll be like a really good start for me to like just start reading some AI papers and whatnot. I think that'll be a perfect start. And also, I think what I need more than anything right now is let me see. Okay, let's just do some lead code and see how we do. Oh, should I start with a chess game? Maybe. Let's see. Let's see if I get a 2000 rating. If not, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. That's another thing. I think if I max out the mathematics side of things, it's like an exponential return on everything else, right? Should I learn probability? Probably not. I have like some projects that I want to do. What was that? I forgot the website name. Fuck. I didn't save it either. Damn it. Is it here? Probably. So I don't know what it is. The website? No, I haven't saved it. It's about I want to conduct a study, not really like a study. I want to do some meta-analysis of some shit. Let's see. I don't know. It may not be a thing. Who knows? Uh, oh, I want to do this. Look into this. CBT to 12 step. But this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Let's see. The MAT project and I trial funded compare the cognitive behavioral therapy to 12 step facilitating TBC 12 step program alongside a motivation enhancement therapy along alcohol disorder across decent study. And after capitation, no single approach has been proved superior, but reduced the drinking improvement functionality. VA study echoes this combined another equal effective, though 12 has significantly higher abstinence rate. It's fucking bitches. Okay. Raw data from 12 step and cognitive treatment for substance abuse comparison treatment. Abstract. I want the raw CSV file. Depending on the replication success metric, around 36 to 47 findings replicated, fueling the discussion about replication crisis. Actual study link. Bro, fuck. Okay. Is there... Okay, let's not read this. Let's just look at some abstract method. Okay, sampling. Mean standard deviation. Okay, median original, median reflect. Oof, look at the scientific. How many people? Oh my god. Okay, what the fuck are we looking at? Original study. Okay. P value. What the fuck is P value? Should I do this? Maybe. Null value, null hypothesis, P value. Refreshing this isn't really like a bad thing. Let's give me a break.
We are going to talk about p-values, an important statistics concept, in 3 minutes. In the 1930s, mathematician Ronald Fisher.
Ronald Fisher. Let's look at this dude. So apparently, let's look at. Bro, this is an excellent mathematician at Harvard School and at first year, born at 22. He developed a statistical method like maximum likelihood, working in station. Later holding okay. Eugenics. Ooh, touchy subject. Fisher strongly supported the eugenics founding Cambridge Eugenics Society as an undergraduate and editing the annual Eugenics. His first correspondent with Nazi. Fuck. My battery's gonna die out. Maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of. He's the mother of statistics. What's the difference between statistics and probability anyway?
Let's learn about Bayesian versus frequentist statistics. People talk a lot about the two different statistical philosophies, so let's try to understand them. For both Bayesianism and frequentism, let's learn these three things. First, a simple definition of probability and what it means in both, what the interval estimates mean, and how do these philosophies impact actual statistical practice. So what is the frequentist definition of probability? Frequentist means probability is a long-run frequency. So, for instance, when I flip a coin many, many times, infinitely many times, half of them will be heads. This is what is meant by the frequentist definition. It's a long-run probability. What is Bayesian probability? Bayesian probability is a degree of belief. So, for instance, I could say experts say there is a 60% probability this candidate will win the election. Now, the frequentist definition makes no sense here. There is only one election, so we can't think about a long-run frequency. This is just a degree of belief that reflects our uncertainty. So let's go back to the coin flip. We say that the probability of heads is 50%, and we said the frequentist definition means that in the long run, when I flip a coin many, many times, half will be heads. We can also give a Bayesian interpretation of the probability of heads being 50%. It just means that I am completely uncertain, and I think it's equally likely for the next flip to be heads or tails. This is a degree of belief.
Wait, so there's frequentist and Bayesian. There's sort of two different types of statistics. I didn't even know that.
If you've studied statistics at any point, then there's a good chance you've heard about what could be the longest standing beef in statistics, the one between the frequentists and the Bayesians. It's not a bloody conflict, these are statisticians we're talking about, but rather it's a philosophical one. In my last video on this topic, I focused on talking about the Bayesian side of things since most people are taught frequentist methods. In this video, I wanted to take a step back and shed some light on the heart of this conflict and tell you whether or not it's something you actually need to worry about. Maybe you're a dedicated Bayesian, or maybe you're a hardcore frequentist for some reason. Most likely, you're just someone who's curious to know a little bit more, and you've come to the right place. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. My name's Christian, and this is Very Normal, a channel for making you better at statistics. Let's get into it. We'll start with a simple question. What is probability to you? Probability is one of those things that feels intuitive at first, but once you really start to think about it, you realize it's pretty complicated. Complicated enough that people have argued about it for hundreds of years. Both the frequentists and the Bayesians have their own particular definition of probability, and it's from these opposing views that led to different approaches to statistics. So before we see how these different schools of thought produce different or not so different analyses, we have to talk about probability. The so-called classical definition of probability is something most of us have been taught in school. Classically, the probability of some event A is defined as the proportion of the number of ways A can happen and the number of possible outcomes. According to the classical definition, calculating probability comes down to simple counting. Examples that come with this calculation often deal with gambling, including coins, dice, and playing cards. It's relatively easy to count the number of ways things can happen with these types of simple experiments. The classical definition of probability probability is intuitive and straightforward to calculate, but it's only intuitive and straightforward for simple types of experiments like the ones I described. When you start to explore more complex types of events, it might not be so clear how to do the counting you need. But the idea of probability as proportion or frequency was here to stay. In fact, the idea was so appealing that some people have just started to say that frequency was probability, full stop. This is known as the frequentist interpretation of probability. According to the frequentists, you could calculate the probability of an event by repeated experiments instead of having to count like in the classical definition. The typical example is a coin. You assume that there's some fixed but unknown probability of the coin landing heads. To calculate this probability, all you need to do is flip this coin a large number of times and calculate the proportion of flips that land heads. Each of these individual flips are considered to be independent and are referred to as experiments, since each one produces a data point. And there's solid math that goes behind this idea. We have a theorem called the law of large numbers, which states that the proportion of heads will get very close to the true but unknown probability as the number of flips approaches infinity. That is, frequentists interpret the so-called long-run frequency of heads as the probability of getting heads, because you can make them arbitrarily close. This idea is powerful because theoretically, it could be applied to all sorts of situations beyond coins, dice, and cards. For example, we might want to calculate the probability that someone will develop a rare disease. The idea is that you look at many people who are assumed to come from the same population, see how many of them develop the disease, and use the proportion of people who get sick to represent the probability you want. The law of large numbers is an essential theorem in statistics, but if you think about it a little further, it also raises a lot of questions. First of all, how large does the large have to be for the frequency to be close? Your first reflex might be to point at the theorem and say, well, as the number of people goes to infinity, you'll be arbitrarily close. That's not super helpful in a world that only produces finite datasets. Next, the law of large numbers only tells you that the observed frequency will be close to the true probability, not what it actually is. Being close is fine for practical purposes, but if frequentists insist that frequency is probability, then it's somewhat troubling if the thing you're using to represent it can only ever be close and not exact. And finally, there are a lot of situations where the frequentist definition just doesn't apply. Past events, rare events, and one-time events are all incompatible with the frequentist definition because the notion of repeated experiments doesn't apply here. This brings us to the Bayesian interpretation of probability. To understand the Bayesian perspective, we need to take a look at Bayes' rule. According to Bayes' rule, the probability that an event A will happen conditioned on another event B is the product of the marginal probability of A multiplied by the conditional of B on A divided by the probability of B happening. Bayes' rule describes the calculation you need to make to update your probability that A will happen after you see B happen. This marginal probability is interpreted as your personal belief that A will happen before seeing B happen. That is to say, probability in Bayesian terms is subjective. Another way to interpret Bayesian probability is that it's a degree of belief that an event will happen, measured on a numerical scale from 0 to 100. Once we see B happen, Bayes' rule tells us how to update this belief number. If you've only thought of probability as frequency up until now, this new subjective interpretation can be difficult to accept. But I'd argue it's actually more in line with what we do every day. We update our beliefs all the time as we gather new information. We just might not assign a specific number to it. When you're watching a movie, you might try to predict what will happen next as you see the plot unfold. That's Bayes' rule in action. You might feel a pit in your stomach if your significant other tells you that you need to talk. That's Bayes' rule in action. And now you may have noticed a progress bar start at the bottom of the screen. And thanks to your natural Bayesian ability, you should have a pretty strong belief that this video was sponsored by some intuitive thing. Everyone can have their own probability. But an issue comes when you try to apply to some common sense probability rules. One of these rules is that the probability of an event happening or not happening should equal 100%. Under the subjective definition, this axiom doesn't need to be respected. I could believe that an event A will happen with 20% probability and that it won't happen with 50% probability. This flexibility
So frequentists say you need like multiple studies to like prove it. What are the Bayesians saying?
is a great advantage, but it also loses a lot of its mathematical rigor. After hearing these definitions, it's tempting but misleading to believe that the frequentist perspective is the hard, objective truth, while the Bayesian perspective is just soft, subjective feeling. I think that this view is too simplistic. The Bayesian definition of probability can be improved, and in fact, people have made great progress on this. One person who's made a lot of progress on this front is Edwin James, an American physicist. James viewed probability as merely an extension of logic, so his definition is often referred to as the logical interpretation of probability. To James, probability was still just numerical representation of plausibility or belief, similar to the Bayesian view, but he added some additional rules to force it to respect the usual probability axioms. One of these rules was that probability had to respect background information. James recognized that people rarely consider events purely in isolation.
Yeah, if you don't consider it an isolation. I mean, that's like saying, oh, yeah, I don't wanna. let's go back.
We will almost always refer to other information to
So, what is
judge if something is
Bayesian
plausible or not. When your partner tells you we need to talk, your mind probably races to figure out all the different ways you might have messed up. Under the logical interpretation, probability cannot be divorced from someone's background information. A consequence of this is that there's no such thing as objective probability in an absolute sense. Background information can be represented in terms of conditional probabilities. Let's call X all of the relevant background information that someone has about an event. This background information can be other subjective beliefs, but it can also include other information like past data, research, or experiences. To be clear, X can denote multiple events or statements, but it's just cleaner to write a single variable here. With background information, the probability of any event A actually becomes a conditional probability. James's view of probability is compatible with Bayes' rule too. The only thing that changes is that all of the probabilities are now conditioned on background information. In this light, a prior probability is no different than any other probability. It's still your degree of belief about an event, but it's now conditioned on all the information that you have at that moment. The logical interpretation of probability helps to better define objectivity and subjectivity with probability. By conditioning on background information, it gives a better rationale for allowing two different people to assign different levels of plausibility to an event. Any differences come down to just having different background information. James has thought that if two people shared the exact same background information, then they should produce the same probabilities, thus bringing a more objective element to probability. So for the rest of the video, you can assume we're working with the logical interpretation of probability. If you're interested in learning more about this topic, then I highly recommend reading Bernoulli's Fallacy by Aubrey Clayton. This book formed much of the research for this video, but it goes much more in depth into the history and major figures in probability. I'll leave a link for it in the description below. Now that you know more about the frequentist
Bernoulli's Fallacy. It's a book to look into. Yeah. Whatever. Why is the average person does not get to flow?
This video is sponsored.
Here are a couple of problems that came into my life recently. One situation had me trying to find an average yearly return on some investments, and another had me trying to find the average gas mileage we get as a family across our two main vehicles. I decided to give my university students similar problems just the other day. Each of the students had taken several math courses while at the university, but in spite of that, they had a hard time finding the correct answers. In fact, not one got the correct answer for the first problem I gave them. The issue wasn't a calculational issue. They did the calculations with a computer or calculator. The problem just asked for an average of a set of numbers. So how hard can that be?
Okay, let's try this.
Well, before you go judging my...
I had 3 years of returns on my risky investment, 33% minus 27% and 26%. Calculate my average return. So it's all given in percentages. I can't really add percentages. No, and I can, but it's going to be wrong. We have two main vehicles in our family, a large gas guzzling van, which gets an average of 15 miles to a gallon, and a small fuel. So the first one should be like easy, right? Just have to like minus 27%. So like goes up. So let X be like around 100. 33.1% is going to be 133 minus 27 of that. It's going to be whatever. And average return, should I just like minus it? I don't know.
Students, I think most viewers would get the incorrect answers to these. So why are these average problems so hard? Well, it's because there are relatively few people that actually understand the fundamental idea of a mean, a generalized idea of an average. It seems many authors of textbooks and websites don't understand it either, so it's no wonder my students struggled so much. To better understand what's going on here, let's just try to solve these problems. Most of my students solved the interest rate problem by calculating the average in the way they learned in school. They took the sum of the values and divided by 3, since there are 3 numbers. I had them verify that the number they calculated was the actual average by calculating the value of my investments by the end of year 3 in 2 different ways, with the 3 different values and with their average value. Assuming simple interest in this problem, where the interest is applied at the end of the year, Then we can calculate my total investment using this formula. So starting with $1,000, we get a total of about $1,218. Now we can do a similar calculation, but with the average rate we calculated. Instead of the 3 different returns, we calculate each year with a single average value, and we get something different, $1,355-ish. Well, this was a clue that the value we calculated couldn't actually be the average, because if we calculated the average correctly, we should have gotten the same outcome both ways. After all, the value I'm trying to find, the average value, is the single percentage I would get each year and still end up with the same total by the end of year 3. Let's try the other problem. My students were tempted to do the same strategy with this problem as with the last one. Add up the 2 values and divide by 2 to get a total of 25 miles per gallon. Well, like in the first problem, I had my students verify the average by calculating from scratch the average miles I would get per gallon if we drove each of our vehicles 6,000 miles. Knowing how many miles each car has driven, we need to find the number of gallons used to calculate the miles per gallon. Finding out how many gallons each car used when given miles per gallon and miles driven is as simple as following the units. We get miles per gallon times gallon equals miles, and we can use this equation to solve for gallons. Now we can calculate the number of gallons used by each vehicle, add them up, and divide by the total number of miles driven. That's 12,000, so we get a gas mileage of 21 miles per gallon. And that's not the same as 25, the value we got by adding up 15 and 35 and dividing by 2. The 21 miles per gallon value is the average that I'm after in this context, because if both vehicles got 21 miles per gallon, then I would use the same amount of gas as I'm using now. So what is going on? Why doesn't the natural and easy average calculation work for these problems? Well, let's think carefully about what a mean actually represents. The mean of a set of values applies to a situation where we have a set of values.
Answered by Brilliant. More on that later. Statistics is infamously misunderstood and in practice is easily abused. But I don't think it has to be that way. When statistics is done correctly, we can get new medicines, new vaccines, and new ways to keep you glued to your computer screen. Alright, maybe not that last one. If people knew how to use statistics correctly, then I think the world would be a lot better off. It's a major reason why I started this channel. I wanted to make more people better at statistics. Even though I didn't major in math or statistics, I still managed to make my way to the end of a PhD. And I'm not particularly well gifted. I still managed.
Bro, biomedical engineering? Fuck no. Put the fries in the bag.
To make my way to the end of a PhD. And I'm not particularly well gifted in statistics, but I've honed a lot of skills along the way that has made learning it much easier. And I want to share the top 5 that got me to where I am today. Whether you're a first-year statistics student,
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's crazy. I learned linear algebra the first. I thought it was the other way around for some reason. And it kind of like gave me a decent enough understanding of like things like dimensions getting compressed into 2-dimensional. Should unlock all of that. Yeah.
working data scientist, or someone just doing some self-study. I hope that my experiences can help you on your own journey. If you don't know who I am, my name's Christian, and this is Very Normal. I already told you what the channel's about, so let's get started with the list. Tip 1. Start with concrete terms. I love learning about statistics, but even after 6 years of doing it full-time, I still don't think it's easy to learn. Statistics is essentially the study of data, so definitions have to be abstract to encompass all the different ways that data can be produced. Once you get it, it's easier to pick up different techniques from different fields, but when you're just starting out, it's so easy to get lost. That's how I felt in the first semester of my master's. I didn't understand how some of my classmates could just absorb the lecture material so fast, but that didn't stop me from being competitive. I wanted to understand it better than them, even if I didn't have the same background. So I tried a lot of things. Flashcards helped with memorizing stuff, but my understanding always felt empty. I went to all the office hours and checked everything I could online, but no matter what I tried, the recurring struggle was that I had a hard time understanding the abstract mathematical ideas. For example, one concept I struggled with was the chi-square test for independence. I knew how to do the test by hand and interpret the results, but deep down, I knew I didn't really understand it. Specifically, I was having trouble with the null hypothesis of the test I was taught, that the columns are independent of the rows. I had no idea what that had to do with the test statistic or the distribution of the test, and no one could phrase it in a way that stuck with me. And one day, I just decided to sit down with the test and told myself I wasn't allowed to get up or eat until I came up with terms that I understood. The example I ended up with involved a parent and a child. I thought of a situation where a parent will ask their kid to clean their room. Some days they'll remember to ask, and sometimes they'll forget. This was my independent variable, or my row. The outcome was whether or not the kid actually cleaned their room, my column. If the kid listened to their parent, then the number of times that they cleaned their room when they were asked should be noticeably different than when they weren't. To me, there was a clear dependence here between the row and the column. Then I tried to figure out what a world would look like if they were independent. I thought of a world where this kid was now a teenager who was less inclined to listen. If they didn't listen, then the rows should look the same. The probability of them cleaning their room would be the same, no matter what their parents said to them. I knew that this is one of the definitions of independence, so that's how I finally made the connection between the chi-squared test and the idea of independence between the rows and the columns. And look, it's not a great example, but it's the actual example I used back then to put the chi-squared.
So you just have to like come up with your own example.
Squared test into more concrete terms. I understood it, and it made it easier to apply the chi-squared test to other situations. My first piece of advice is to always ground the statistical concepts you learn in terms you understand. If you get the abstract definition right off the bat, then more power to you, but having lots of concrete examples can help out, especially when some of your examples aren't exactly perfect. Like in my example, I thought of a single parent and a kid,
Bro, I'm gonna do this.
but the data that
Such a genius idea. Just to, like, instead of trying to like spurge through shit.
comes from this example
I mean,
probably isn't
concrete math symbols and what they mean. He's not even a statistician, isn't that
that we
crazy?
combine in some way to get a total. The mean of the set of values
dependent. From my own teaching experience, it can be bad to stay purely in the abstract, especially in a collaborative field like biostatistics. I've worked with plenty of PhD students who have a strong statistical background, but lose the script when it comes to applying this knowledge to a specific problem, like clinical trials. Biostatisticians are expected to work with other experts, and if you can't address their problems in terms they'll understand, then, as the saying goes,
You're gonna have a bad time.
Tip 2. Look for patterns. In most introductory statistics classes, it's common to learn a battery of concepts and methods like hypothesis tests. It's tempting to treat these tests as a list of tools that you can use in different situations. This approach is useful for memorizing so that you can ace a test, but it's not very practical in real-world settings. To be an effective analyst, it's really important to build an intuition for statistics so that you can apply your knowledge in a variety of real-life situations and not just a test. Let me tell you about my first ever midterm as a master's student. My first biostatistics class was split into two halves. The first was for basic hypothesis tests, and the second was for linear regression. This midterm focused on the hypothesis tests. Everyone was allowed a one-page cheat sheet for the exam. I don't have a picture of mine anymore, but this is roughly what I put on it. I tried to fit all of my tests onto a decision tree, and everyone who saw it made fun of me. When I saw what other people had, I learned that other people take their cheat sheets really seriously. I spent so much time developing that chart, and honestly, I didn't even look at it once during the test. It made me question if these cheat sheets or my decision tree were missing the point. In my heart of hearts, I knew that I wouldn't have a cheat sheet working as a full-time employee. If I forget something, I'll have time to look at the details. But I thought I should at least have a well-developed intuition for what tests are appropriate at which times. And one way to develop this intuition is to look for patterns in the things you learn. Patterns indicate a unifying concept that you can use to connect multiple ideas together. Here's a list of the 6 tests that most people learn in their first statistics class: the one-sample z-test, the one-sample t-test, 2 variants of the 2-sample t-test, and the 1 and 2 sample proportion tests. On one hand, you can view these 6 tests as just 6 things you need to memorize. But check this out. Here's the test statistic you need to calculate for each of them. Do you notice any patterns here? They all have a similar form, where the estimator is centered by the population mean and divided by the population standard deviation. This calculation is called standardization, and it typically produces a standard normal with zero mean and unit variance. Knowing that these three tests are distributed like a standard normal and the others have a t-distribution, it must mean that the statistic here also has a normal distribution. If we rearrange the terms, we'll get something like this, and this result comes from the central limit theorem. This is for the z-test, but the same logic essentially applies to the 5 other tests. The underlying concept behind all of the basic hypothesis tests is the central limit theorem. Instead of having to memorize 6 distinct hypothesis tests, you can derive each of them starting from the central limit theorem, the single unifying pattern. Patterns like this are common in statistics. Once you know the pattern, you can take advantage of it and use old instances of the pattern to learn about this new one. Tip 3. Learn a statistical programming language ASAP. If you're in a statistics class and most of your studying is dealing with proofs or hand calculations, I highly recommend that you incorporate programming into your study routine. Nowadays, it's uncommon for statistics to be done by hand. If you need to conduct a hypothesis test or run a regression, you're most likely going to do it with code. My first tip recommended that you make it a habit to translate statistical concepts into terms that you understand. This tip recommends that you translate the concepts into the language of code. There are lots of benefits for translating statistical procedures into code. The first one is that you can focus more on actually interpreting the results rather than doing rote calculations. Another benefit is that code gives you an alternative way to interact with statistical ideas in a more concrete way, which we'll get to in the next step. And third, code gives you a faster, reproducible way to visualize these concepts. Here's an animation of me plotting the histogram of many sample means. I wanted to see how the histogram compared to what I should expect in theory, given by the central limit theorem. And almost like magic, the histogram begins to fill the normal PDF. I used this visualization in my explainer for the normal distribution, but it was originally something I made when I was first trying to understand the central limit theorem. Sure, you can make plots by hand, but with code you can take it another level and make dashboards or animations like I did. In my opinion, I don't think I'm as technically gifted in math as the other PhD students in my department, but I make up for it by the fact that I know R really well, and I can find other ways to fill in the gaps in my understanding. If you're just starting out, it doesn't really matter what language you choose. Most people will do either Python or R. The point is to just pick one and start learning and using it. If you have a different take on that, please let me know in the comments. I'm gonna need to get a full-time job next year and I gotta be prepared. The true benefit of programming for the purpose of learning is that it forces you to think about the concepts from yet another perspective. There's the purely statistical perspective, and there's the applied context that you're working in, and now there's a third code perspective. The best statisticians know how to effortlessly translate between these 3 different lenses and communicate with anyone on their team. Tip 4. Strive to investigate and struggle. Have you ever heard your professor say something that just didn't make sense to you? And before you could ask about it further, they've already moved on? It can be really frustrating when that happens, but these are actually perfect opportunities to take the initiative to fill in the missing details yourself. On one hand, you can just sit down and try to struggle with the theory. Sometimes that's necessary. Other times, you can start interacting with the idea through code. The ability to generate synthetic data.
Okay, let's actually do something instead of watching other people do it, which is stupid. Stupid? You like stupid, mate? You sound like you're stupid, mate. Okay, today, today's goal is that, but. Bro, I'm so happy that I learned a little bit of linear algebra. I need to do a refresh, but still, super happy with that. Super happy me learning linear algebra and sticking to it, you know. Bro, why is it hard? Why is it so hard? Can this be easy? Please? Please be easy. If you're easy, that'll be like really fun. I'm gonna come up with it myself too, which is so gangster to come up with. Imagine coming up with your own statistical model or some shit. Dynamic programming, projection, randomized. Yeah, a lot of dynamic programming. Is dynamic programming linked with statistics? Probably. Let's give it a go. I don't know. Get an API random 7. Okay. What does this API do? It's an API defined by, okay, returns a random integer, range is 1 to 7, okay. Implement a ran 10 using random 7. Write a function for random 10, uniform random integer for which you can call random 7 and you shouldn't call any other API. Please do not use any built-in, okay. So I'm building an API for random 10 using random 7. How is that even, like, what am I supposed to do? Genuine question. Like, the fuck? might have to leave code 270.
About 2 years ago, I set out to build my own chess computer.
Okay. Let's just solution. Okay, while true, x is equal to ran 7 minus 1, okay, into 7 plus ran 7. If x is return, what? Apparently this beats everything. Like, how do you even come up with that? How do you even come up with that, bro? Apparently this works. Bro, I don't think it's 100% though. How does that even work? So random, okay, let's print while we at it, just print, should be like a random 7 thing going on. Ran 7. Fucking hell. How do you even come up with that, bro? That's like the most output 7, 6 again. It randomly changes. Okay. So let's do a little mathery. Mathery, that sounds really gay and homosexual. So x is equal to, let's say 4. Okay, 4 minus, okay, 3 into 30, 21 plus 3 will be 24. So x is 24. Why? I don't get this. Oh, is this like a magic number thing? Is it like a if? Why is it? Huh. Let's do 8. Random number 8. And fuck, I need my mouse. I need my mouse. Let's do 8. So let's do 8. It's gonna be 8. It's gonna be 8. It's gonna be 7 multiplied by 8 plus 8. 30. What's that? 56. 60. How? 56. 62. And what would random number 8 be? So let's do 7, the highest number for some reason. I don't get it. What is this concept called in probability? It's called rejection sampling. You start with a uniform number. You say, okay. Shut up. Shut up, bitch. It's funny. It's fun.
This section is about tree. M of ij should be 0 if I is
It's funny. Super funny. Accept Ridgeling data set. What the fuck is that, bro?
Hey everyone, welcome back. So we're filming this around the holidays, so I got my holiday pajamas on so we can be festive. And the topic of this video is going to be called accept reject sampling, and sometimes people just call this rejection sampling. So the last video we made on sampling from a distribution was a little while ago. I'll post that video in the description, and it was called inverse transform sampling. So that was a method to sample from some distribution. It's a cool method, but the biggest issue with it by far is that we explicitly need the cumulative distribution function, the CDF, in order to do this method. And for a lot of real-world distributions, either those that you're using in your research or your job, or ones you're forming yourself, you're simply just not going to have access to the CDF. And even if you do, another step in inverse transform sampling is to invert the CDF. We need to take the inverse, and that might be difficult even if you have it. So this method, accept reject sampling, is solving a lot of those issues, at least starting to. It's a method which you don't need the CDF for. In fact, you don't even need the full form of the PDF, which is the probability density function. So let's go on. We're going to
Okay, CDF and PDF.
be working with a real world kind of example here. Let's say that you are the counselor for some department at a university. And the students in this department normally take about 4 years to complete their studies. And let's say that the way your department works, halfway into their studies, so 2 years in, they take an assessment which tells us how well or how bad.
Okay, give me a second. I need a mouse. I need my mouse. Juicy
Badly
steak.
they're doing in their studies. Let's say this assessment can take any score S, where this S is the score they get on the assessment between negative infinity, so more negative means they're not doing well, and to positive infinity. Higher values mean they are doing well. And now let's say that the PDF, the probability density function of the scores that students get on these exams, is given by P of S. So again, to be clear, P of S is a probability density function for S, the score of the student that gets on the exam. Now, we don't know P of S, and that's where this method starts to get interesting. We do know, however, the numerator of P of S. So P of S is equal to some numerator, F of S. So F of S is the function which is the numerator of P of S, divided by NC. NC stands for normalizing constant. And now this is actually a very common thing that we see in probability and statistics, especially as we get into research and work in these fields, where we get this case where we often know the numerator of some probability density function, but we don't know the denominator. And why is that the case? Well, if we think about this NC, how would we compute it? NC would simply just be the integral of the numerator between negative infinity and infinity. That's how we define these normalizing constants. And so that form is given down here. But if you think about taking the integral of this function, which we haven't talked about yet, but it already looks pretty disgusting. If you think about taking the integral of this thing between negative infinity and infinity, it doesn't look like a fun time. Oftentimes it's not even possible. Oftentimes.
Data science is the way to go.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. So a little while ago, we had a series of videos on multi-arm bandits on this channel. And they do this really cool thing that you would naturally do as a human being, where they balance between exploring different options and then exploiting the options that have been.
Okay. Cool. Let's give me the answer for this.
This is a very interesting problem where we have to
Nigger. Show me the this one, yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Larry. This is day 28 of the August Decode Daily Challenge. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get started. Join me on Discord and implement Ren 10 using Ren 7. Given Ren 7, 1 to 7. Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay. What are these? Oh, they're just numbers. So there are a couple of ways we can do it. The most naive way is just we do it twice, and if it's outside of you know, you have two numbers, and you can. I was gonna say you could add them, but then that doesn't give you a even distribution because then you have this binomial thing, right? So you could just multiply them, and then if it's not from 1 to 40 or whatever it is, then no, can you multiply them? I mean, I guess the most naive way is just do it 10 times. And then sum it up. Is that right? My math is really terrible today.
Stretch my hands in a life like. This is what your life like. People put your buttons like.
I think that should be rough.
Okay, let's see your answer.
And to this give
So random 49. What are you talking, bro? How did you come up with that?
us a number from, just to be quick.
Yeah, like how did you come up with this shit? Let's hear some of my bros. Probability and distribution explanation step by step approach. Define a function using named random that takes no. Okay. You already have that. While true, generate a number from range. Zero. Okay, zero. Okay, that makes sense. What is this called though? It's a conversion, index mapping, uniform grid in one index. Okay, what the fuck? You can name using probability. Rejection sampling is an overall method because rejected. Okay, rejection sampling. I want like a short video. I don't wanna accept rejection sampling. Master rejection sampling for
Rejection sampling is a powerful statistical method used in programming to efficiently generate random samples from complex distributions. In the coding world, it's especially useful for simulations where direct sampling isn't feasible. By accepting or rejecting samples based on a predetermined criteria, programmers can ensure more accurate representations with minimal computational overhead. This technique not only speeds up computations, but also optimizes resource allocation, which is crucial for larger datasets and diverse applications, such as graphics rendering or machine learning. By mastering rejection sampling, programmers can enhance the precision of their simulations, leading to more efficient and reliable code outputs. Adopting this strategy not only refines one's coding craft, but also contributes to building more efficient systems. Rejection sampling is a powerful statistical method used in programming to efficiently generate random samples from
Hey everyone, welcome back. So we're filming.
I can't do that shit, bro. Rejection sampling. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Sliding window, yeah, why not? New game 21. 21, a new game 21. New 21 game, okay. Alice plays the following game, loosely based on the card game 21. Alice starts with 0 points and draws a number while she has less than K points. During each draw, she gains an integer number of points randomly from the range, okay, where max prince is an integer. Each draw is independently and outcome has equal probabilities, okay. I don't know where this is going. Return the probability of entry points. Answer. Okay, so can someone explain this problem? 870, 837.
Hey everyone, welcome back, and let's write some more neat code today. So today, let's solve the problem, new 21 game. This is a really hard problem. That's probably why you're watching this video. I don't know why they made this a medium problem, because yeah, while the coding solution, to be honest, isn't a lot of code, it is definitely a complex problem. And I'm just gonna quickly tell you what we're gonna cover in this video. First, I'm gonna show you kind of a brute force, well, not brute force, but an
Bro, dealing with an edge case. Okay, just explain the problem. I'm going to do
optimized
this.
solution using recursion, which is going to be about big O of n squared, where I think n in this case is actually going to be the k variable provided to us. And then I'm going to show you the optimized dynamic programming approach, which is going to be big O of n. I'll also mention that my solution is going to be different from LeetCode solution and most of the solutions in the solutions tab, because I think mine is a bit more intuitive, but I guess that's up to you. You can decide. Basically, we start with a score of 0 and we keep drawing cards. In this case, the cards could, let's say, have a value from 1 to up until max points, which is going to be a variable. In this case, it's 10. So think of it this way. We have 10 possibilities. We could draw either a 1, a 2, a 3, ... up until a 10. So these are the choices. And basically, we continue to draw. So in the decision tree, we're going to keep making those 10 choices on every single node until we reach a score of k or more points. So in this case, our k value was actually equal to 1. So it looks like no matter which possibility, our score is greater than or equal to k at this point. And what we want to return is the probability that our score is going to end up being less than or equal to n. So this is a third variable. That's kind of why this problem is confusing. There's a lot going on here. So what's the probability that our...
Nah, it's too difficult. It's never going to be asked. Math statistics for large sample. Nah. $808. Oh, $808.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're tackling LeetCode problem 808, soup servings. This one is a fascinating blend of probability and dynamic programming. It might seem tricky at first, but we're going to break...
Let's see. You have two soups, A and B each, starting with N ml. On every turn, one of the following 4 serving operations is chosen at random, each probability independent of previous turns. Okay, 0. It doesn't, okay. It doesn't really affect how the last thing went. That's the explanation for independence. 400 milliliter from type A and 0 milliliter from type B. 475 from type A and 74 from type B. Note. Whoa, what the fuck?
Break it down step by step. Let's get started. Okay, so here's the setup. We have two kinds of soup, A and B. We start with
That is a proper way to do all of this. Oh my god, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. That's a proper way to do it. Sometimes it's just too difficult. It's difficult because you just want to like do the next shiny syndrome or whatever the fuck. We want to do the next best thing. Let's look at back. You know what I mean? That's the only tempting thing in all of this. Backtracking.
The topic is backtracking. This is one of the problem solving strategy. Using this approach, we can solve problem, or we can write our algorithm by following this strategy. This strategy uses brute force approach. And brute force approach says that for any given problem, you should try out all possible solutions and pick up desired solutions. This we were already following in dynamic programming. But in dynamic programming, we were solving optimization problems. Backtracking is not for optimization problem. Backtracking is used when you have multiple solutions and you want all those solutions. So for explaining backtracking and how it follows brute force approach, I'll take a simple example and explain the strategy. So let us take an example. If there are 3 students, 2 boys and a girl, and there are 3 chairs, we have to arrange them in those 3 chairs. In how many ways we can arrange? There are 3, number of students are 3, so we can arrange them in 3 factorial ways. That is 6 ways. Now we want to find out all possible arrangements. So for finding all possible arrangements, we can solve the problem, and the solution can be represented in the form of a tree. That is solution tree, and we also call it as state space tree. So we will represent the solution in the form of state space tree. Let us generate a tree and solve this problem. So let us start. This is the starting of a solution. Now let us take all possibilities. So first, who can sit? First chair, boy 1 will sit. So this is showing first boy. So in the first level, we will consider each one of the students. So let us say boy 1 is sitting there. Now next level, for next chair, that is next seat, who can sit there? Boy 2. So boy 2 can sit here. Then next is girl 1. The third level for third seat, so girl 1 can sit. So we have finished with the input. Now for another arrangement, take out girl from here. So take out, go back here. Any other possibility? No. Take out boy 2 also. So take out boy 2. And in the second place, who can sit there? Girl can sit there. So girl 1 can sit there. Then at that place next, boy 2 can sit there. Boy 2 can sit there. Right? So this one more solution we got. Take out boy 2. Take out girl 1. Any other possibility? No. So take out boy 1 also. Now next is boy 2 can sit in first place. Then who can sit here? Boy 1. Boy 1. Then girl 1. Girl 1. Then take out girl 1. Take out boy 1. Girl 1 and boy 1. Right? Then next, girl 1 sitting here. Then boy 1. Boy 2, and here boy 1, boy 2, and boy 1. So these are the possible arrangements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from the root, if I follow one of the path, I get one of the solution. I wanted all 6 possibilities, and I have all possibilities. If I take this route, this says that first chair, boy 2 will sit, then boy 1, then girl 1. So I have found out all possible solutions. The problems that we solve using backtracking, those problems usually will have some constraints. And we will try to check those constraints and get the solutions which are satisfying those constraints. Now I will impose one constraint here. I'll say that girl should not sit in middle. Girl should not sit in middle.
Girls should not sit in middle. Oh, interesting. So all of this too is done.
This is the constraint. So girl should not come in between. Then what are the possible solutions? So let us check. So again, I will just trace and draw the tree. So first boy 1, okay, correct. Then boy 2, that is nearer to boy 1. Then that is at second place. Then third place girl 1. Yes, correct answer. Go back. Next possibility. Second place girl. No, not allowed. So no need to go further. Stop here only. Right? Constraint is imposed, and we are not generating the tree further from here. And we are killing this node. We are not going further. Because what is the condition? Girl should not be in the middle. So in the second level, girl should not come. So we got girl here.
Bro, that's genius. That's fucking genius when you think about it.
Here in this combination.
Let's do backtracking. Okay, I found what I want to do.
So we stop
today. I'm going to do the rotated array. And
here, and we say this.
Thing. So let's fucking go. This will get completed. Fuck, I just don't trees, man. Sometimes the trees are like annoying. Look at how many. 11. I understand trees are like kind of like everything, but it's like, come on, binary tree is not that important. Interesting, in my opinion. Binary search tree.
This node is killed.
Pretty sure so.
And how this node is killed, we say we are imposing a condition, and that we call it as bounding function. That condition is called as bounding function. So we applied bounding function and killed the node. So this is how we are trying to get a proper solution, as well as we are trying to save our work also. Now go back. Boy 2 is sitting here. Boy 1, okay, second level, second chair, boy is there, no problem. Then girl, yes, this is also a solution. This is also a solution, right? So second solution. Then go back. Girl is again coming in between, that is second chair. So kill this one, kill the node, right? By applying bounding function. Go back. Girl, now boy, then boy. No problem here. No problem here. Then this is also a solution. This is also a solution. No bounding function. If no bounding function is applied until you reach at the last level, then you got a solution. So total 4 solutions we got. So there are a few problems that comes into backtracking, like the n-queens problem and some of the subsets problem, graph coloring problem, right? I will show those problems. Yeah. One more thing, the same approach, that is brute force approach, is used by one more strategy called as branch and bound. Branch and bound. This is one more strategy. Let me show you the difference between backtracking and branch and bound now itself. See, both follows brute force approach and both generate state space tree, but the approach is different. So what is that? In backtracking, the way we were generating the nodes were first this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. Go back and come to this side, go back. So this is DFS we were following. So backtracking follows depth first search, whereas branch and bound will follow breadth first search. I will show in branch and bound how we generate the tree.
Backtracking, depth first search, branch and bound. Okay, it's DFS. Lot of language models use breadth first search. It's kind of interesting. So let's look into it. Heaps, backtracking, subsets. Okay, you're given an going to be interesting. Woo, hyped up for this. Given an array nums of unique integers, return all possible subsets of nums. The solution set should not contain any. Okay, it should not contain any. Bro, I've done this exact problem for my 10th grade exam, so I should return the output. So should I do a for loop? I think I just need to like depth first search, right? Is depth first search recursive? Pretty sure of this. Is depth first search recursive? I think I should. This is how it is, right? So this is how it's going to be. So for we have an empty set, okay? This is how it's going to be like. Empty set. Fucking hell. I need to go. Empty set. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 3, 2. I need to pick up. Okay. Okay, we have an empty set. And we have 1, 2, 3. Branching off over this. 2 and 3. 3 and 2. This one is going to be 1 and 3. 3 and 1. 2 and 1. 1 and 2. So let's count it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So no duplicates. No duplicates. How do I figure it out? That's an easy one, but easy one to figure it out with the duplicate. So yeah, let's go back. Go back. So let's try 3, 2, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. So let's circle everything as It's been done. This is going to be done. This is the first time I'm seeing this. First time I'm seeing this. First time I'm seeing this. And first time, okay. That is all the first time I'm seeing that. So 1, 2 is going to be the first time I'm seeing this. 1, 3, the first time seeing it. 2, 1, first time. Okay, 2, 1 is not the same as 1, 2. Okay. That's the trick here. So 1, 2, 3, a solid 1. 1, 3, 1, 2, and 2, 1 is the same as 1, 2, and 1, go back. 2, this is already seen. This is already seen. 2, 3, seeing the first time, and yeah, this is irrelevant. 3, empty set. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bro, I'm a genius. What the fuck? The fuck, bro? So how do I do this? How do I implement so DFS is gonna be, I'm gonna insert 2 numbers. That's gonna be like going back and forth. Okay, it should be like a tree like such structure. So it has nums. How do I plot it like a tree like structure? List of lists n. I don't know. Let's see. Bro, I told you. I knew. I had an intuition. But obviously this is my first time seeing it, so I'm not really gonna iteration. It's done recursively. Yes, I knew it.
Hey everyone, welcome back, and let's write some more neat code today. So to
Pre-maze to focus that. I'm pretty sure I've done this before. But anyways, keep going, brother. Keep growing, brother.
Today, let's solve the problem subsets. So we are given an integer array nums, and all we need to do is return every single possible subset that we could create from the input nums. And we do not want to include any duplicate subsets. So what is a subset? Well, let's say we have 1, 2, 3 as our input. One subset, of course, would be 1, right, by itself. Another subset would be 2 by itself. We could set so 1, 2 choice, where number 2 track 1 or not. We multiply by 2. Now we have this. So let's do this with backtracking. So we're going to have a result list, which we're going to add these subsets to. And I'm going to do this with
backtracking, yes. Oh, don't do that, please. Don't give me an ick. You're giving me the ick. I know it, fucking bitch. Result.
Backtracking depth first search, and I'm going to write this function inside of this function so that we don't have to pass in this variable or this variable into it. We'll just have access to it by default, but I'm going to pass in I, which is the index of the value that we are making the decision on. So, you know, we had 1, 2, 3. So initially I'm going to pass in index 0 for this one. And this will be index 1, this will be index 2. That's going to tell us whether we decide to add 3 or not add 3. So this I will tell us which element we're currently visiting. And so we know that the base case for this will be if I happens to be out of bounds. So if it's greater than or equal to the length of our input, we know we're out of bounds. And in that case, we can just return. Now, what like data structure am I going to use to build each subset? I'm going to have an array, and I'm going to allocate it outside of the function so that we have global access to it inside of this function, right? So let's say cur, let's actually call it subset. Let's say that it has the subset that we currently have. If we ever reach the base case, we know we've gotten past our leaf node. So what we can do is add that to our result. And I'm also going to add a copy of the subset because the way it works in Python and in most languages, this subset is going to be modified, right? So
what the fuck is going on? Subset. Let's do a backtracking one really quick. Let's get a understanding subset. Subset. Binary watch. Of course, everyone gets it right. Everyone gets it right, yeah, for sure, buddy. Nigga, what are you doing C++? I feel inferior not knowing C++, but it is what it is. For nums, that's what I was trying to think the same thing. Why am I doing backtracking? Yeah, why backtracking? I don't get it. So binary tree path. Let's look at it. Given a root of a binary tree, return all roots to the left path in order with no children. Left. Only the left side of the tree. How do I do that? Too big, bro. The path would be 1, 2, and 5. The path would be 1 and 2. Only the left side. Nigga, what the hell? I mean, yeah. Okay. I guess. I don't really understand it, but I guess. Yeah, let's not fucking hell. Okay, let's go here. Yo, thank you. Problem using backtracking. Let's do this after this one.
Hey everybody, this is Levon. Join me on Discord. Let me know what you think about this setup. And we got an easy one today, so we have to do them anyway eventually. So okay, binary tree paths. Given the root of a binary tree, return all root to leaf paths in any order. A leaf is a node with no children. Okay, so you have an output here. Yeah, I mean this is going to be output sensitive, and what I mean by that is because you have to return every possible one. There's no way to optimize beyond that in terms of and so you can just do a record depth which is I guess what I'm trying to say. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do a recursion. Yeah, let's do, and then we do it from node. Let's just say we have an answer list that we'll use the global variable. Yeah, so if this is a leaf, if node is none, we just return. We also maybe want to do the current path. And then here, if node.left is none and node.right is none, then that means that this is a leaf. And then we could do answer.append by looking at the path. We could do something like maybe this. join path, and then we return. Otherwise, we do for the regular depth first search for the left and to the right. And this is way basic, depth first search tree traversal things. So yeah. So here we also want to make like f dot append node dot value, and then path dot pop, I guess. But yeah, and here of course we would have to do path dot append node dot value as well. Yeah, and then.
What's up everyone? Today we're going to go over LeetCode 257. Now the input is going to be a binary tree and the output is going to be a list of strings. And what we need to return is all the root to leaf paths. For example, 1, 2, and 5 is one of the strings.
I know what to do. I think my genius ideas need to be written down. I don't know where though. I don't know where.
And 1 and 3 is the other string. So let's say, for example, we have binary trees, right? Because they're asking the direct path from the root to leaf, we know we can take a DFS approach. If they were asking us something to do row by row or layer by layer, that would be a BFS approach. Now, we are going to choose this one because the question is directly asking code easy. So that's pretty straightforward. And how can we generate this? Well, all we do is just take it when it gets a chance. Bring the sixth setup in a separate copy. A node gets cool.
Bro, doing using C++, man. C++ is not Sigma. Told you this. It's not Sigma, bro. You're not Sigma. Telling you. Let's give it a go. Def search DFS. If root is none, return root. Nah, return none. And I need to search the left tree, so it's going to be root.left. Let's return ans. Let's go. Why are you gay, bro? Why are you gay? What's the solution? Yeah, I don't know. I need to master the trees first. Oh my god. This is the problem with like doing whatever you want to do. It's just you just get stuck.
The problem is n-Queen's problem. First, let us understand what does it mean by n-Queen's problem. Then I'll explain you how backtracking is used for solving this problem. See here, a chessboard is given of 4 x 4, 16 cells.
Where is backtracking actually used? Backtrack is used anywhere from scratch when you choose under constraints and systematically undo bad choices instead of typing. Is it used in Sudoku, n-Queen, crossword, verbal, arithmetic, mazes, peg solitaire? Is it used in ML? Okay, let's look around.
A standard chessboard will be of 8 x 8, but for reducing the size of a problem, we have taken 4 x 4. And 4 queens are given. So in a game of chess, a queen will be there, which will have its moves like horizontal, that is in a row or in a column, or diagonal it moves. So here also it's the same queen. And that queen...
Surface rather one core deep learning, employee scheduling timetables, CME solver, classical AI planner search.
we have to place them on this board. So all 4 queens we have to place such that no 2 queens are under attack. So when do you say they are under attack? If they are in same row or same column, or they are in same diagonal. So if they are in same row, same column, or same diagonal. So we have to avoid this and arrange them such that they are not under attack.
It's all completely different type of problem. Realistically, well-known is rely on backprop around stack estimate, not from backtracking in percentage.
So is it possible to arrange them? Yes, it is possible. We get some solutions. Is there only one solution? No. For this, we will have more than one solution, and we want all those solutions. So now, we want to know what all their possible arrangements. From there, we want those arrangements which are satisfying this condition. So for this type of problem, backtracking is used. We want all possible solutions which are satisfying this condition, not just one solution. If we are looking for optimal, then we should go for dynamic programming. We want all solutions which are satisfying this condition. So backtracking is used. Now let us discuss how to solve this one. Those 4 queens, I'll place them on this 4x4 chessboard. So in how many ways I can place them on the 16 cells? So I can place them in 16C4 ways. So this will form a lot of possibilities and the problem becomes big. No, to reduce the size, what we will say that a queen cannot be kept anywhere on the board, but first queen in first row, second queen in second row, likewise. So it means now what we have to decide, we don't have to decide the cell. We have to decide in which column a Q will be placed. So those columns will write here. First queen, which column it will be, then second queen, third queen, and fourth queen. So we'll write on the column numbers. So now the problem is reduced. And one more thing we'll do. We will try to avoid keeping 2 queens in the same column. Okay? Actually, we have to check this condition. So condition we
already found out too. It's funny. I mean, I don't know if there's like multiple solutions to this, but 1 queen here, 1 queen here, 1 queen here, 1 queen here. None of them attack. I mean, I think this kind of attacks each other. I'm not really smart. Shit. I'm not really like that smart after all. So what about 1 queen here, 1 queen here, 1 queen here, 1 queen here? There you go. I guess another one would be one queen here, one queen here, one queen here, one queen here. And another one is going to be, let's do this, one queen here, one queen here. Yeah, I think when you occupy the center rows, it's like done. So anyways, it's a wonderful problem. Let's see.
Already solved. What? We will not keep all the queens in a single row, every queen in the next row. So first row is problem solved. Then we know we are placing them, we have to solve it. So for that we will try to avoid keeping two queens in the same column. So these two are directly, we are taking care. Now we have to check are the queens in the same diagonal or not, right? So now by checking all these conditions, what we will do is, we will try to...
It's chess, which DSA?
to solve it and prepare the solutions in the form of a solution tree, and that is state space tree. So I will generate state space tree now. Let us generate a state space tree. This is the root. Now first queen, I will keep it in first column. Queen 1 in first column. Then queen 2, as we decided, will not keep it in the same row and same column, but in diagonal. No, actually, it should not be in diagonal. They should not be under attack. No, I'm not checking that attack. Without attack only, just I am drawing what are the possibilities. Okay. Then afterwards, I'll show you how to check the attacks and how to generate a tree. First, without attacks, I'm preparing a state space tree. Second queen in second column. Then third queen can come in third column. Yes, third queen can come in third column. Right? Though they have more, third queen goes into fourth column and fourth queen comes in third column. This is how we represent the possibilities. That's what I'm showing you. Now continue. Can I keep fourth queen anywhere? No. Third queen, there is no place. So take out. See, this is the last cell. Now move second queen. Second queen in third column. So second queen in third column. Then third queen in second column. Third queen in second column. Then fourth queen in fourth column. Fourth queen in fourth column. Now fourth queen, there is no place. Take out. Third queen, can I keep it here? We decided we'll not keep it in the same column, so keep it here. So third queen will go into fourth column. Then fourth queen can come in second column. Then here. Now is there any place for fourth queen? No place. Third queen, no place. Second queen, you can move it to fourth column. Second queen can be moved to fourth column. Then third queen in second and fourth in third. Then this is third, this is second. Then go back. Now for second queen also there are no places available. Then take out this. Move queen 1. Queen 1 in third pair. 3 nodes are there. So 4 into 3. 4 into 3 nodes plus. Then below this 2 nodes are there. Below this every node. So 4 into 3 into 2 nodes plus. Last 1 nodes are there. So 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. These many nodes will be generating when we have avoided same row and same column, but we are allowing diagonals. So then how much this is? This is 1 plus summation of, now this I takes values from 1, 2, 3, 4 terms are there. So I takes values 0 to 3. So I'm starting from 0 to 3. Then this is product of what? 4 minus j. And j takes the values. This is 0 to I. This is I. Right? This will be a formula for knowing the number of nodes. If I simply calculate, this is 1 plus 4 and this is 12 plus 24 plus 24. So this is 48, 60 and 65. 65 nodes will be getting. This is for 4 queens. If you take 8 by 8, it will be 8 minus j. For any n queens, this will be the number of nodes that will be generating for solving this one. So this is showing the maximum number of nodes. So formula is for maximum number of nodes. We will not be generating all of them, but maximum this will be generated. Now we will solve the problem by following this method only, right? And what is the condition for us? Bonding function is that they should not be in the same row and same column and same diagonal. So I will consider that and I will generate a tree. And now we will be solving the problem. So I will redraw the tree again by applying bounding function. That is the condition. Now let us solve this with bounding function. So what is bounding function? Bounding function is condition, right? So what is the condition? Not in same row, same column and same diagonal, right? We will check this one. Now we'll draw the same tree once again. First step is queen 1 in first column. Queen 1 in first column. Then queen 2 in second column. Queen 2 in second column. They are under attack. So don't go further. Kill this node by applying this condition, bounding function. This has violated the condition, so we have killed this node. So we cannot keep it there. Then pick up queen 2 from there and keep it in third column. Queen 2 in third column. So the next possibility is queen 2 in third column. Is it under attack? No. Continue further. Queen 3 in second column. We will not keep it in the same column, right? Second column. Second column, it will be under attack. So queen 3.
Does it use backtracking?
In second column. bounding function. This will be under attack. Don't keep it there. Now let us try another cell. This will not keep it in same column, so we'll
chess representation evaluation, tree search, main algorithm varies from maximum beta. Fucking hell, is it so? Iterative dependence, repeating alpha run.
keep it here, queen 3, this column. Queen 3 in fourth column. So queen 3 in fourth column. There also it is under attack. So no question of placing fourth queen at all, right? Third queen itself did not find its place. Is there any other cell remaining for third queen? No. Now we have to move second queen. So okay, move second queen. So second queen is moved in fourth column. So this is in fourth column. Now third queen, second column. Third queen in second column. Yes. This is possible for third queen. They are not under attack. Now fourth queen. What is the cell remaining? Here. Fourth queen, if I keep here, it will be under attack in third column. So if it is in third column, fourth queen, right? This will be under attack. So killed. So pick up fourth queen. Can I keep it here? No. All cells are over. Now queen 3, it can be kept here. So that is in third column. Third column. But that is diagonally under attack. So don't go further. This is killed. So can I keep it at this place? No, we are not keeping in the same column. Now move queen 2. Queen 2 cannot be moved. So pick up queen 2 also and move queen 1. So queen 1 in second column. So queen 1 in second column. Diagonal column. Third queen 1. This cell will not keep here only. This is the only place. So queen 4 in third column. Is it under attack? No. We got a solution. What is that solution? 2, 4, 1, 3. 2, 4, 1, 3. Actually, these values we were trying them here in an array. Now I have written the answer finally. So 2, 4, 1, 3. This is one answer. Right? And I have to continue further and I try to find out any more answers are possible. So yes, there is one more answer if you continue doing this. What is the other answer? See, mirror image of this one. So Q1 will be on this side and Q2 on this side and Q3 this side, Q4 here. Mirror image of this one. So that is 3, 1, 4, 2. So 3, 1, 4, 2. So what are the answers? Solutions are, there are two solutions. One is 2, 4, 1, 3 and 3, 1, 4, 2. That's it. So I have shown you, before this one I have shown you all possibilities. Now I have used bounding function and solve this using backtracking.
Ooh, interesting. I'm gonna creating a chess engine from scratch.
Hello everybody. I'm looking forward to doing this next video series on programming a chess engine in Python. So
I might do this. What's the next one? Subset problem.
The problem is sum of subsets. First of all, I'll explain the problem. Then I'll show how to solve this problem using backtracking. I have taken an example problem here. Let us understand what a problem is. See here, some weights are given, n equal to 6, total 6 weights are given. We have to take subset of those weights such that their sum total is exactly equal to.
I need to rewrite. Here's what I need to do. Okay. I need to rewrite some of the data structure stuff to understand it a little bit faster. Woo. Holy shit. It's not broken. It's not broken or anything, but what am I doing? So this is the paradigm that I'm working with. I like this paradigm because what's the best paradigm to go about? I need to write down the entire thing and kind of formulate what is used where. So backtracking is not a chess engines are made with that. Bit manipulation is where a lot of low-level programming is done, I think. Bro, I'm getting. Whew. Let's do something really smart, which is Cooking. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Call me when you want. Call me when you need. Call me when you no, 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 no. Call me by your. That's a demonic song. I'm not listening. Not singing that. Not doing that. Something came over me. It's not really me. Backtracking. Okay, that's backtracking. Cool. I think greedy. What is greedy, Houston? Okay, I think I have like a clear understanding of what I want to do, where I want to go, and all of that bullshit. Okay, what's the difference between graph? I think it's not a binary tree, I guess. I think a tree is a binary tree and a graph is not really binary. That's my understanding of it, at least. Let's look at subtree. I need to work my way up slowly but surely. Let's do a rotated arrays. Let's try it one more time. I think I might need some prerequisites. Sorted array. Search array. What? This is what I came up with. It was a binary search. Yeah, it was something to do with graphs and shit, which I didn't quite really get it. So I was supposed to find how many rotations it takes for my target to be in the first. So if target, what if it's here? Output 0. Why is that again? Maybe I need it. If it is in, let me get this. How about now? Well, what happened? What's the issue here? It should be indexed. No fucking way. Of course, my code, it looks like the greatest code ever, honestly. Why is it wrong? Like, I don't get this. I don't get this tomfoolery. It looks okay to me. What is the edge case exactly? Expected 0. I don't know. I've incremented. Okay, why am I incrementing L? I guess L is the one that's looping over it, but I can use a for loop. What is going on here? What is going on? Okay, let's. Yeah, I don't. This is like propaganda. This is Russian propaganda. that, man. This guy, I don't trust these people for some reason. Let's see my goal.
Hello and welcome. Today we're doing a question from LeetCode called Search in Rotated Sorted Array. It's a medium and we're going to jump right into it. There is an integer array nums sorted in ascending order with distinct values. Prior to being passed to your function, nums is possibly rotated at an unknown pivot index k. K lies from 1 to length of nums, such that the resulting array is nums of k all the way to nums of k minus 1, 0 indexed. For example, if we're given 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, which might be rotated at pivot index 3 to become 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, 1, 2. Given the array nums after the possible rotation and an integer target, return the index of target, if it is in nums, or -1 if it is not in nums. You must write an algorithm with O of log n runtime complexity. So we are given an input sorted array that's been rotated, and we want to look for target in the log of n runtime complexity. Example 1, we have the same array over here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, 1, 2. And we want to look for 0, which we find at index 4, so that is what we output. And example 2, we have the same array, we want to look for 3, which we don't find, so we output -1. And example 3, again, we don't find our target in our input nums, so we output -1. Okay, so all the values of nums are unique, and nums is an ascending array that is possibly rotated. We're given a rotated sorted array, and we want to look for target with log of n runtime complexity. If this was just a plain sorted array, we could search for anything with log of n runtime complexity using binary search, but we still want to do this in log of n runtime complexity, which means we're still going to be using binary search. Now with a rotated sorted array, 4 was 3, so target equals 3. Now if this was a regular binary search, what we would do is we'd split our input right down the middle and check the middle and end bounds. So I would check my bounds and see if target would potentially lie in any bound and continue my search in that half. So here 7. This is fully sorted, right? This is in perfectly increasing order. So I know whatever numbers are in this half have to lie between 4 and 7. So what I can do is check if my target is within these bounds, and if I don't see it, then I can continue my search in the other half. And this is always going to work because the only time we're not increasing is when we restart. So we're always going to be increasing. One half would always show the correct increasing bounds. The only time we don't do that is when we have that k pivot that we've rotated on. Otherwise, we are good to go. So what we're going to do is basically just check which half is sorted, and within the sorted half, just check for our target. If target is within these bounds, we continue our search in that half. If not, we would go in the other half. So to write this up, the first thing I'm going to do is initialize my beginning and end bounds. So beginning and end is going to start off at 0 and length of nums minus 1. So I have my end over here and beginning over here. Now I want to keep searching up until beginning and end converge at the same index. So while beginning less than x that I am on, case over here, right? Beginning is less than equal to nums of mid. That means
I've been streaming for 2 hours? No fucking way. It feels like I've been streaming forever.